Hello everyone, this is Jawan. Welcome back to Lock's Quest. The white noise issue that was apparent in Mega Man X and in Mega Man Nothing, that was apparent in the first part is now officially gone. I believe it's gone. I should be gone. It should be gone. And so now we're back in the village after the events of part 1, which means that we're done with the tutorial. Lock's Quest, I don't know if I mentioned this in part 1, I've forgotten now. Lock's Quest is the type of game where there are a good amount of cutscenes comparatively to action, meaning that it's not Metal Gear Solid where you'll spend 5 hours in a cutscene and then like 5 minutes of action in a boss fight. Instead, it's the other way around, where there's more action than there is boss fights. However, due to that, I actually have to re-edit a lot of these videos because I need to have something to talk about. And showing every day in Lock's Quest is hard. I will link in every part of the video from now on the days, or a walkthrough that goes over each individual day. However, I will be skipping a lot of the days because it's really just the same thing after the first one. And usually when you see, you'll usually see either the beginning day of a section or the end day of a section. And usually usually I'll go for the end day, because the end day is when you can see all my swords, all my defenses, everything. And that's the best way that you should do each section of the game. It's not dispersed, like you have to do a section over here, and then another one over here, and then this over here. It's really good, and it's a really good pacing in how they do the game. So now, if you've been reading the dialogue and text, which I hope you have, what's his name? Isaiah has been trying to help Locke and the village the villagers move on from this tragedy, because now they have to leave the village behind, the place where they've lived for their whole lives, due to the fact that the Clockworks are going to attack it for the source well that is here. Locke is though concerned about Emmy, because apparently she never got back to the village during the time that Locke was defending Isaiah back at the beach, so... I mean, with all that tutorial, I kinda would've thought that she could've got back, but whatever. You can talk to the villagers. They don't really have much to say, but I'll talk to some of them anyway. You can even talk to Tobias. I believe his name is Tobias. I either call him Tobias or Tobias, but Tobias sounds like T-O-B-I-U-S instead of T-O-B-I-A-S. It just sounds like that's me. Now we're getting our first special attack. The special attacks are basically on-the-fly moves that you can add onto your regular attack that will do either more damage, poison the enemy, drain life from the enemy, which is virtually useless, or freeze the enemy, which is the most useless because you don't need to freeze, but whatever. These are just a few tips. We will be seeing the next cutscene after this first build phase. The build phases are really... they're not hard to commentate, it's just that they're a bit difficult to commentate. Oxymoron. Anyway. So in each build phase, like the game taught you tutorial, you can just place your defenses down against the Clockworks. You'll have whatever source. I don't know if they mentioned this. In the game, you'll have the amount of source that you had at the end of the last battle phase is the amount of source that you have when you go into the next build phase. So always spend like the last 10 or so seconds of a match going for source, because otherwise you're going to be really low. As you can see, I'm low on source already, so I was only able to put the turrets up. We skipped the first few days of the game because that's really just getting you used to the pacing. So this is going to be our first boss encounter later on, and his name is Pain. You'll be able to recognize bosses specifically by their color. I hope you're able, unless you're colorblind, and then you might not be able to notice. And you only see in one color, because it's still kind of obvious, even if you're colorblind. So now, after trying to defend the village and not abandon it, which I said we should have done a while ago, they decide they now have to evacuate the village. So now the next day that we're going to be seeing, is actually going to be the day that we defend and move away from the village, after which the evacuation will be over. All this stuff happens after the time, so yeah. So now we have to talk to Tobias to start the next part. Like I said, the villagers say stuff to you, yes, but they don't give you things like side quests or anything, so it's not really useful to talk to them. They might give you source, I'm not sure. I haven't talked to every villager in this game. And I skipped on to the battle phase, because you'll be able to see all my turrets and stuff when I run around. See, this is the best defense, to put up walls on these small areas, these small hallways where the Clockworks will come from, to make it a bit easier on yourself to just have them basically get stuck. They'll get choke pointed, and they don't have to get back so close to the source well as they would usually. Those Archer Guardians, which are the, and if you can hear the gameplay footage, just know I'm going to try my best to audio balance this right. You could have heard glass shattering. That is basically that a wall was about to get destroyed. Once you start hearing glass shattering, you should run immediately to whatever is being destroyed and heal it quickly. Back to what I was saying earlier, the Archer Guardian Clockworks are actually some of the most annoying enemies in the game, because at some point, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, I think you will, sometimes Archer Guardian Clockworks will be out of the range of normal turrets and towers, so your turrets will constantly get hit by an arrow from a distance, and you have to keep healing it after a certain amount of time because the arrows will keep hurting it and it can't seem to fight back. Later on we'll get an upgrade, or not an upgrade, but a helper turret that basically gives the turrets longer range. The one problem with the first few days of the oh great, here come the yawning fits. Not saying Lost Quest is a boring game either, but one problem with the first few days of the campaign is that the game will standardly, shall I say, it has a lot of breakpoints in between, like, waves of clockworks that come in. As the game gets on and goes on, clockwork waves will get larger, but they ease you into those larger waves. One problem with this defense I have actually is that wall to the left, to the right, and like to the left of the block. And this will happen a lot, where the character just gets stuck in geometry for no apparent reason. Not even that, like in a normal game. Anyway, sometimes I put where that wall was. If you can see it in the center, we'll probably pass it again in a few seconds. Nope, you have to go down here. But there's a wall up there that's not useful because nothing's doing it past these turrets. And that ding was the last about 1 minute left in the timer. So this is about the time in the later parts of the game where you will have to start running around and grabbing swords. I recommend start doing that about 20 to 30 seconds near the end of the match. Nine. See, we have it's a little countdown, and see that it happened again there, where for some odd reason the character just gets stuck on geometry. Excellent! Tear it all down! Look, we've done evacuating the village. Come on, boy, let's escape while we still can. And this is the escape. The last few have to get out of there before the end of the village. Destroy the bridge, that'll slow down the advance. I guess Clockworks can't swim in water. Maybe they're like Endermen. Idiot. Well, I'll see you on the next part of Lost Quest. Have a nice day.